All right, we've got wrestling drama today, AEW drama. We've got Summerslam drama. We've got drama coming out of our ass. This is Wrestling with the Business. Let's get into it.
We're back, episode 19, Wrestling with the Business. Jeremy, Matt, and myself. Guys, welcome back to another episode. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened this week in wrestling. Jeremy has a rant for later, and we're going to go over a lot of rumors and news and so on for everything in the world of wrestling. So let's talk about this week. Title change, right? Rey Mysterio, Austin Theory. Did anyone see that one coming?
I thought you meant the Divas title. Sorry.
That is it's in the middle of the table right now. It's not more over here anymore. It's in the middle. But no, that wasn't the only title change. But you guys shocked with the whole Rey Mysterio? I'm very disappointed. But I'll let you guys say your piece first.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they've given up on Austin Theory at this point.
I mean, I've been a Rey Mysterio fan since I was 9 years old, and the fact that I'm mad about him winning the U.S. Championship tells you about how bad this angle was. I mean, why don't you give it to Santos? Santos Escobar is a very solid wrestler. Or let the LA Knight, let it happen with Austin Theory. You keep giving these guys, minor little pushes. It doesn't make any sense to me why they're handling it the way. Clearly, they don't like Theory for the title, which is fine. They gave him Cena at WrestleMania. He couldn't get over. They gave him some really good matches earlier in the year.
Bronson Reed and all that.
Yeah, that was the
triple threat.
Yes. I mean, he had some good matches. That was the title that was up for grabs at Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber match was a very good match. He's not as dynamic on the mic. He's not good on commentary. They've invited him down. I mean, they've given him opportunities. He's got the look. He can wrestle.
We didn't talk about it last week, but it wasn't up for grabs at SummerSlam. He was part of that Battle Royal.
He needs somebody to work with. It takes two people to play pickleball. You can't play all by yourself. Otherwise, it's boring. And the people they've been matching him up with, they haven't invested in any real storyline. They haven't done any of the character work that's necessary. If you put him up against a guy like LA Knight, I feel like they could really go at each other. I've been pushing it for months now that they should be doing that. I don't know why they're not.
I really can't put my finger on what the reason is here. Are they trying to give another title number to Rey Mysterio? No. Is it like a farewell to him? They
know what I have been saying for a couple of weeks now, which is that the value of the title is being destroyed. It's losing its value. They gave it to a legend. This is their attempt to try to put some.
But here's my whole point. My whole point with the whole Austin Theory thing is he won the title, Survivor Series, November 26th. Okay, he's had it for 258 days, and you're just giving up on him just like that. He
can't get over. He can't get over.
I mean, I don't know. If you're for a promotion that struggled to hand out the champions, and you're giving him the title for 250 days, they must value him. You know what I mean? He's obviously an up-and-comer. They couldn't do a whole rivalry with LA Knight. There's clearly...
I don't get it.
The only hope I have here is that there's some kind of storyline. Maybe he wins it back and now he becomes a two-time... I don't think he's won it before.
No.
Becomes a two-time U.S. champion. I'm hoping that WWE. They like that title count number. They like to build up the resume of the wrestlers. So maybe this is hey, let's give Rey Mysterio the belt for a month. We'll give it back to Austin Theory. Now he's a two-time United States champion. That's what I'm kind of hoping for, or it leads to some kind of triple threat match with Austin Theory, LA Knight, and Rey Mysterio. Or maybe they're trying to set Rey Mysterio up to a rivalry with someone else who they really want to have the title.
No,
I don't know.
I think they're done with him. I think this is them saying, "You're finished. We put you at WrestleMania with John Cena. We gave you a match, an Elimination Chamber match. We put you in the ring with some of the best guys, except LA Knight. Why the fuck? And you can't get over. If you look at every other title holder, they all are able to get over. He's the only one that can't get over. He's the only one. Gunther, way over. Roman Reigns, way over. The women's champions, way over. They all
Austin
get over.
Theory is the guy you want to hate. Like, he is truly a guy you don't want.
He's not good on the mic. He's not good on commentary. They don't give him time on the mic because they know he's weak at it. He needs to. I think
That's a pretty big downfall.
and especially in WWE.
To give up on someone who's not a champion is one thing.
He's had the title
What-
almost as long as Gunther has.
What if they hook him up with a mouthpiece like Paul Heyman?
I mean, there's only so many mouthpieces out there. Paul Heyman can't be everywhere. I mean, he's attached to them.
There's
They could-
gotta be a story here. I don't know what it is.
They could. It's with LA Knight. I don't know why they're not doing it. I don't know if they hate LA Knight so much they're willing to sink Austin Theory, but they could have a Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin type rivalry going.
Maybe
not in the
there's-
same style, but the same intensity.
I
they
wonder
could
if
have.
there's a thing where they want LA Knight to win the title but not put down Austin Theory. So their easier solution is have LA Knight beat Rey Mysterio.
I don't think they like
And then
Austin
that can
Theory.
lead-
that
I don't know.
much.
I'm trying to think of what.
That's how you. That's what you do with a champion you're trying to protect. They're not trying to protect him.
Right. They
what I'm
could
saying.
be thinking that, but that wouldn't help LA Knight, especially if he's more of a babyface.
Right. The whole thing just doesn't make any sense to me. But the writing is a little bit on the wall. He wasn't at SummerSlam. The match was like there is a little bit of well, you know, they clearly not. They don't value.
Yeah,
him.
they
They're
don't
not-
see him as the premier title holder, and they're trying to give it a little oomph. Ray's going to hold it for a little while. They're going to They're going to give him some wins, some good defenses.
He'll probably
that's
do the
the
whole
case-
defend it every week or every other week.
Yeah, he'll
open
defend
challenge.
it, and then someone will take it from him, and it'll be toppling the legend.
I
and
know
all
we're
that
not
stuff, right?
educated enough to be WWE writers, but why wouldn't you would think they put someone over big time at SummerSlam and be crowned the new United States? Like you would think they make some. If you know what, Austin Theory really isn't our guy anymore. Well, go have him lay down for someone at SummerSlam, make a big SummerSlam moment. Then like why not do that? Like it's just like it's so like. But again, you and I, the three of us aren't writers. So
It
we
makes
don't-
more sense to them to get 25 people on the show rather than 2. That's why they did the Battle Royal.
It's crazy.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to fill time because you got injury issues and
Or because you cut 2 women's matches.
yep. So,
But I don't know. That was my big disappointment for the week. I think that was. Besides that, I think it was the only title change of the week, which I thought was worth bringing up. So,
Yep.
what do you guys have for this week? Anything else?
I want to talk about Jay walking off because I did not see this coming. This is the second thing. I mean, I thought I had something mapped out really well for what would happen at SummerSlam. It didn't end up happening. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I liked your idea when you put that forth.
But that was some good fantasy booking, I think. And now Jay walking off, they wipe him from even the alumni section of the website. To me, this screams of a work. I think they're giving him a vacation, and they're going to bring him back. Maybe Royal Rumble, maybe Survivor Series, depending on how much of a break he needs. His contract is up in August. To me, this just screams of like a deep fake work. That they had a contract signed 3-4 months ago with him. They just put a non-disclosure in there so he couldn't talk about it. And he's gonna take a break now. His brother just came off of a short break, like a month long or whatever. Now his brother's gonna keep the line going, and he'll be back in a month or two. It just screams work. Why would you wipe him from the alumni section?
yeah, I don't think
website.
it's a shoot.
This is the hottest storyline in the biggest company that just got sold underneath the biggest sale ever to Endeavor and that whole thing. There's no reason why you wouldn't
So
re-sign.
let me argue the other side, just for the hell of it. Why not sign with AEW? What are they? Are they what hot storyline right now? They are the hottest storyline right now.
They are very hot. I mean,
So if I'm Tony Khan, and I know that's what WWE has been really pushing for the last 3 years, you mean to tell me Tony Khan wouldn't dish out the money to bring over Jey Uso?
You're gonna
in
out-
the middle.
He might, but would Jey Uso actually go?
Money talks. I'm
dude,
sorry.
you're gonna outbid
Money
Endeavor.
talk. You're assuming they matched the bid. No, wait, no.
Dude.
No, hang on for a second. Hang on. If I'm who do you think is making the call right now on contracts for WWE? You think Triple H? Vince McMahon?
It depends on the situation.
Well, Nick Khan is still the CEO of WWE.
Let's say Nick Khan walks into Vince McMahon's office and and I'm just shooting numbers. I have no idea what any of their contracts are. And they're going to sit
It's
down
seven
and go,
figures. It's seven
right,
figures.
They're going to sit down and go, Jey Uso was just offered $25 million for...
No.
I'm just shooting out a number. Okay, what do you want to call a more realistic number?
$1.5 million, $2 million,
Okay,
$3
let's
million.
say $3 million. Okay, Jey Uso, $3 million. You want that? Vince McMahon is no way in hell going to sign Jey Uso for a top level contract. He is not top level. He isn't. And he's not going. Vince McMahon, and let me tell you something. The publicity of AEW and Tony Khan signing that all in, his contract is up in August. Okay.
Hang on. Okay, I see what you're saying. Tony Khan doesn't have $3 million.
What's the no?
No.
What's the big word we say creates cash? Eric
What
Bischoff
controversy is this?
He's
Okay.
leaving in the
All
middle
right.
of a
You know
big
what?
storyline.
I don't need to speak to this. I'll let the professor speak to this. Professor, why don't we talk about what happened when two of the biggest stars in WWE walked off to WCW in the late 1990s? What happened?
The biggest wrestling boom of all time.
Which,
NWO.
hang on, that eventually created NWO. But even Kevin Nash admits that when he and Scott Hall walked off, he knew immediately afterwards, right? When they came in with the baseball bats and the security was there, I think it was in North Carolina. I think it was in Greensboro, North Carolina. And he said, you know what just happened? We just came in, two guys just wiped out your entire locker room. You just basically shot yourself in the foot with us. So there's not a great history of bringing in some of the top end WWE talent and having that actually enhance your locker room.
See,
He is. He's bloodline.
He's not top.
No, he's not top.
They held the
But
championship
Jeremy,
for
here's
how
what you gotta
long?
Look at. You gotta look at.
That's what I was about to say. They may not pay top dollar for Jey Uso, but how much will they pay to have the Usos?
Maybe, but that's a good point.
They might be top of the tag team division, but Jey Uso alone is not top
You
of the
gotta
card.
look at the man, Jey Uso. Do you think he wants to be in Roman Reigns' coattails the whole time? He knows he's not going to. Hang on. Jey Uso knows that he's not going to be top level at WWE. Just not. And he knows that his only storyline is going to be the Usos. So if you're Jey Uso and you're saying this company here that I have a chance to go over and redefine my whole career with something different, they're paying me a ton of money. Why wouldn't you go do that and then in 5 years come back to WWE like Cody Rhodes did with a whole new level? Jey Uso isn't going to get that push in WWE. He's just not. Because his brothers there, they're always going to tie him down as the Usos and the cousins of Roman Reigns. He's not going anywhere.
No, they haven't had their grudge match with his
You can say
brother
whatever you
yet.
want. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, rather it's a good in the long term and the short term, it paid off big time for him. And the problem is they stayed too long. And if Jey Uso signs a 2-3 year deal with AEW and then gets the hell out of there and goes back to WWE like Cody Rhodes did, more money. No. I'm telling you, there is a slight possibility. If you're Jey Uso, you have to be saying in your head, I can sign another 3 years doing what I'm doing right now because that's all I'm going to do. Or I can sign in 3 years, get paid
Doing what I'm doing more. You know, I could sign 3 more years playing shortstop for the New York Yankees. Yeah, okay.
Let's turn it over to the AEW guy. Matt, do you not think that Tony Khan, that's big for AEW storyline wise and this whole media attention, it's big, it's huge, it's controversy. It creates cash.
Again, I think, like you just said with Kevin Owens and Scott Hall, in the short term, yeah, it'd be huge. But I think Jey Uso, back to that same argument, he's not a top guy. He won't be a big deal in AEW for long. Maybe. It will be a short flash in the pan. That's
Maybe
it.
do a 2-year deal.
Think about who he's up against in AEW. Impact, I could see it, but Impact wouldn't want to pay
A 2-year
him.
deal is perfect because the first year you're gonna be crazy. You can drag out a first match for 3-4 months before he has his first match and whatever it is. Then by the time the 1 year is over, it starts to go down a little bit, just in time for a contract to be done.
Impact is much more of an idea. AEW, yeah, he might try to get him in, but they'd be much more interested in having both of the Usos there to go up against the Young Bucks.
Match what WWE's paying him?
No.
And by the way, the Usos
he
can't
would be
keep
a
up.
top guy in Impact.
The Usos could never keep up with the tag team division in AEW. They would look like chumps.
It would be tough. Yeah.
I'm just
They
saying
would
there's
look
got
like
to be a
garbage.
reasonable argument that Jay in his head is going, I can't keep doing the Usos for another 3 years. And I can tell you right now, we all WWE is not going to get rid of the Usos. If they're under contract, you're going to keep them the Usos. Like they're not. I don't see them going down a whole single. They're just not.
Yeah, they'll do like Matt and Jeff Hardy did back in the day. They'll feud for a while, then after a year or two, they'll get back together. It'll be a big thing at WrestleMania or something.
There's got to be a slight chance.
We'll have to see.
Money talks.
We're on the work side, but we'll see what happens.
But I just like to go head to head with Jeremy. So
Bring it on.
Last thing that happened this week, on AEW, did you guys see this Texas Chainsaw Massacre deathmatch bullshit?
I saw clips. I did not watch.
I'm
the
sorry.
whole thing.
I don't know what the hell's going on over there.
It was
when,
so
I,
bad.
when I saw that title, I'm like, this has no good written all over it, and I didn't even make the attempt.
I mean, it's the same idea that WWE did with the Mountain Dew Black Light Bray Wyatt match, whatever that LA Knight was in that match. Yeah, it was bad.
And I didn't watch that either. I don't want a match sponsored
They had
by...
Leatherface come out with a chainsaw.
But not only,
And chase off Karen Jarrett.
I don't want to watch a match that has the Mountain Dew, whatever. Like, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to...
You're going to see way more of that in the future.
But still, it's just like, that's not
future.
wrestling to me. Like, find other ways to promote. I don't want a Skittles, whatever, all around the ring match. Like, I'm not interested in that. Like, I'm not...
You're going to see Moxley, crack a particular beer at the end of a match and hold it up
money
at
talk.
just
Money,
the right
like I said,
angle.
it's all money. So okay, Matt. What was the debacle of this match? Did you like it or not
no,
like
all of it. It was awful. It was terrible.
It was campy. It was gimmicky.
The match was between Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett.
Bad.
And there were points in the match where their groups were fighting more than they were. I mean, there was a good solid 2 minutes in the back where both Jeffs are down, huffing and puffing, and everyone is fighting around them. It was bad. Karen Jarrett was bad. Leatherface was bad. One point, they're in the back. They weren't even in the back. They were underneath the stands, and they just had red lights shining everywhere while they're running away from each other.
Anytime they step away from the ring and they do the firm deletion and all that stuff, it always ends up blowing up in their face.
This man is saying it was bad.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Oh, this was by far the botched spot of the week. Come on.
It was bad. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I saw the title and I saw Jeff Jarrett. I'm just like, I got no interest in this.
They were in Jeff Jarrett's hometown in Nashville, and the crowd was not into it at all.
Well, Jeff Jarrett's also old enough to be most of their grandfathers.
I'll give them a point for trying creativity a little bit. A little bit. Come on. I mean, what do we really think was going to happen there? Texas Chainsaw? Man, come on.
How do you not do that in Texas? I don't understand.
True.
I don't.
But what was the gimmick of the match? Like, what was
it? Was just a
name,
just a hardcore match.
Oh, okay.
That's all. It was the sponsorship was for the new Texas Chainsaw game that's coming out. But yeah, it was just a hardcore match.
Similar to the Mountain, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. All right, so those are the highlights this week. Let's get into some news and rumors. First up, Falls Count Anywhere dropped this past Monday. We went over an awful article. I hated this article. And I did not express it enough on that video. I hated this article. The more I thought about it, when I rewatched the video, it was just bad. Comparing Attitude Era stars to today's stars.
Great sell on the video, by the way. If you don't go back and watch this video now, you're an idiot. Great sell, Matt.
This is bad. This week, though, we're doing something a little different. So normally, you're quizzing me on wrestling knowledge, but this week, the professor is the quiz master. And we're going over wrestlers' real names. Let's see how much you know about your favorite wrestlers.
Great. Excellent. This won't be
I
embarrassing.
don't think it's going to go well.
I think it'll go as well as Matt allows it to go. Apparently there's an easy, medium, and hard, so...
There might be a new Divas champion after this video.
Shut up.
Really quick, let's get into this week's ratings, too, because it was surprising. Every show this week was down, which... Or no, not everyone. I forgot. Collision was a little up. SmackDown, 2.097 million, down from 2.2. Rampage down to 398. Collision went up a little bit to 476, but still low from the last couple of weeks. Raw was down to 1.75 million. NXT down to 680,000, and Dynamite also went up a little bit, 874. So not all down.
In general, trending down though.
Yeah,
Which
way more
isn't
down
good
than up.
because in about 2 weeks you have football season.
Yeah.
And that's when you're gonna have Monday Night Raw down. Fox won't have the weekly top spot because Monday Night Football or not Monday Night, but Thursday Night Football. A lot of these weekday shows they're gonna start knocking them off again. They're just not gonna.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. I think SummerSlam Hangover. getting ready for All In. You always kind of get that little dip in ratings in between. The storylines are kind of relaxing a little bit. Fastlane's coming up in a couple of weeks, but everybody knows that's like a C-level pay-per-view. I don't even think they do it every year.
I don't think they care. And let me tell you why I don't think they care, because I think they know they're not going to be there. They're not going to be with Fox. They're not. I don't think you're seeing the same.
Oh, and this is Endeavor's,
Well,
this is
I'm just saying.
Endeavor's
I know. I remember last year, and I would have to go back to figure out who it was and what the storylines were. But WWE ran a lot of shit right before football started because they wanted those weeks as a top spot. 'Cause again, that's all for negotiating. That adds 4 or 5 more weeks that I'm the top show. Because they know September 9th, September 3rd, I think is when football starts. Yeah. They're done. Like Thursday Night Football is going to be the number one or Monday Night Football and ESPN is going to be the number one cable show. Sunday Night Football is going to be the number one basic cable show. Like they're not going to they lose all of that. So after that, and it goes to what? January? So they're trying to get in a few of those last weeks at the top spot. And I would say for negotiating purposes, and the fact they don't care and they're not really trying. I mean, there's no big returns. There's no surprise. Like no one showing up. I mean, no Brock Lesnar.
Well, hang on. We have a Trish Stratus cage match.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
it wasn't good enough for SummerSlam, but it's gonna be a cable draw.
Break her nose again.
Monday Night Raw. But I'm just telling you, I think there's a little bit of they're not making it a priority because they already know they're not.
I think that they already know where they're going. They're just waiting for the ink to dry. Yeah. So we'll find out where it is, but
not surprised. And it's the summer. I mean, I mean, I'm sorry, but you have wrestling every night of the week. Now we just had SummerSlam on a Saturday. Now it's every day. Yeah. So people are like probably need a break. It's crazy.
Yep.
Agreed.
Then you have All In coming up.
That
All out the week after.
And Fastlane.
Jeez. Yeah, there's too much wrestling. You mentioned SummerSlam. So I went over the reviews last week, all of our predictions. But one thing I didn't go over was they set some revenue records. $8.5 million gate and $7 million in sponsorships.
Yeah, you're going to see that a lot. And it intrigued me that the sponsorship was as high as it was, so I went back and looked. WrestleMania, very similar. Sponsorship, only slightly below the actual gate. So $8.5 million gate on a SummerSlam, that's pretty nuts when you consider that WrestleMania, two-night WrestleMania, is pulling in like 21, 22 million. So, I mean, those are WrestleMania numbers.
Well, I remember Triple H in the press conference after, he went over all the numbers and how it looks so great. And I mean, I just think right now, I think it looks good because they're going with smaller stages. They're going with you look at SummerSlam, for example. I mean, they're allowing more. They don't have the big stages that they used to have. Now they're small and they can condense people more around. It's more tickets. Prices are up.
I think it's a higher because if you look at let's take WrestleMania 39. 60 some odd thousand people piled in. Although I think there was 43,000 at Ford Field. But they made 8 million versus let's say 10 million. They're making up the difference in ticket prices. I'd be interested to see what the average ticket price was for SummerSlam. I don't have that at my fingertips, but it must have been pretty handy to make $8.5 million on 45,000 tickets sold. I mean, that's pretty nuts to me. That's.
I mean, they have. I mean, you had the Slim Jim Battle Royale. Mm-hmm. That's money coming in for a match.
Yep.
And I heard the Slim Jim deal is pretty big.
That's $190 average a ticket.
How much?
$190 per ticket average.
That's not bad.
That's very good.
I mean, if SummerSlam was in Albany, I would be anticipating a $200 ticket. So it's really not crazy. But Triple H did mention that at the press conference after SummerSlam that Slim Jim, they had a thing going for the next bunch of pay-per-views. That I think don't quote me. I think he said the Royal Rumble is sponsored by Slim Jim.
That sounds familiar.
So just that they must. I mean, I don't know how Slim Jim has all this money to. I mean, they must find wrestling is a good thing for them. But that, I mean. They obviously have some
good history, the relationship with Macho Man.
I think you're going to start to see the connection with Endeavor come in, where this may start opening the door to some sponsorships.
Oh yeah, we're gonna start seeing sponsorships on the inside of the ring, on the mat, and everything. Just like
but I'll
UFC.
tell you right now,
Well, I don't know about the mat. Vince McMahon doesn't like stuff on the ring mat itself, but around on the barricades and stuff, absolutely.
That's cute. We'll see how that holds up.
But the only thing I bring up though is now, so there's definitely a demand for wrestling, right? So now this is where I think you throw it back at AEW a little bit and go, if they're not doing well in something, or vice versa. I mean, there's something that if something's not doing well, then there's got to be a reason for it. Because WWE is knocking out very, very strong numbers. And let me tell you something.
It's a different product. It's a different product.
But it's watered down product.
What is WWE?
I think it is.
Yes.
It's been watered down for a long time.
Yes, it's a watered down product.
And I don't really like necessarily the AEW that much, but their content, if you're an AEW fan, they got some serious content going on over there. They that is some fresh shit that's happening every week.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's way out of Texas Chainsaw Match, way out of Bonkers Land, or if it's something like they have stuff going on. WWE doesn't, and they're drawing a lot of people and a lot of revenue. So there's clearly something there. I mean,
I think that there's a lot of comping
that could
at the big live events. I think there's a lot of comping going on
WWE
for WWE. Yeah. I think
bringing
there's a
in
lot
numbers though.
I mean, again, we'll get to it because we'll get to WrestleMania 40 and that stuff. But I was looking at based off of the gate receipts that they're claiming and the ticket sales, they don't line up. They're either dropping prices massively as the event gets closer. I mean, massively. Or they're comping a big chunk of their
Where was
tickets.
SummerSlam? I know Detroit.
Detroit.
But
Ford Field.
Okay, well that's the other problem. Has SummerSlam ever been in a stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has
Of
it?
course.
Are you sure?
It was
Yeah.
in Wembley in '92.
Yeah.
No,
it's
I'm
been-
talking like recently, like last year before that.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
last-
it was
the
in
last few years.
Toronto a few years ago, and
Stadium wise,
All the
Yeah.
big four they've been putting in stadiums.
that's the other.
except for maybe the Royal Rumble. That one they put indoors
They did that
occasionally.
they did that in Texas this past year.
No, what I'm saying is they will put something like that in the Garden. Like if you
Oh.
go north and you have to have it inside or something like that.
because that's the only other thing I can think about too, is their numbers are a little bit inflated. If they've been in arenas the last, of course they're gonna have the biggest gate ever if they're going
We'll see
to.
what happens because I think Survivor Series is in Minneapolis. I think, and that's mid to the end of November in Minnesota. I don't know how that's going to go outdoors.
Right.
I'm trying to look.
Being a total crap show.
If the Vikings can handle it, they can.
Yeah. Well,
I'm trying to look up all the locations, but
let's
right, we can move on.
Lacey Evans.
Yeah, she's in the news again.
yikes.
There's some rumors going around. Well, it's been made official now. The rumors were going around that she was leaving. Her actual name is Macy Estrella.
Was it actually confirmed by WWE now?
Yes, today
Okay.
it was confirmed. She's officially released. She's listed underneath their alumni section on the website.
Just like Jey Uso.
She's calling herself a formal. No, Jey Uso is not listed on that section. She's listed as former. Yeah, that's Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp are both reporting that she's officially confirmed out. And there were a couple hints, unfortunately, on several of her tweets hinting at some kind of OnlyFans arrangement, which hopefully is not the case.
Actually, I saw something just before I got here to record today. She's hinted at her first shoot, which is supposed to be something about the president's desk.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
I've seen all these things saying like, "Oh, what promotion should she go to?" And I'm like,
She ain't going nowhere.
I think she might make a triumphant return in a few years, but she's going to be away.
She's following the Mandy Rose, what she did there. She made over $1 million in her first month away or something doing OnlyFans.
And the question is, are you going to pay?
No, absolutely not.
If I had money, maybe.
I'm sure she has a $5 tier.
We got to get this show some more views so I can afford stuff like that.
Let's take it international. So, NKPW G1 Climax. Why don't you help?
NJPW.
Sorry, NJPW. Why don't you help everyone that isn't quite as internationally educated?
So this week saw the end of the G1 Climax, which is a large round-robin tournament. I think it's 16 guys total. No, it's more than that. It's like 30 guys total. Round-robin, they all face each other at least once. It's been going on for many, many years. Many past winners that everyone would know today. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, I think Ricochet won it, AJ Styles. They've all won at some point. This year, Naito won his third tournament in his career, which is fantastic.
There's been a lot of talk on the Japan side of sort of passing the torch. A lot of the older generational guys are getting to retirement age.
Okada, Tanahashi. Yeah.
Tanahashi, they're kind of moving on, and you see this young generation, and we'll talk about the ESPN top 30 under 30. A lot of Japanese guys making that list in the teens era. So I think we're kind of seeing the torch.
There were some really good matches in this year's tournament, though. One that really sticks out is Eddie Kingston versus Ishii. They've had matches in AEW before, but their match in the G1 was especially good. So definitely go and check those out.
Kingston will be at All In.
Yes, he will. Now let's talk about, you do the next one here.
This is your favorite one.
Ryback and Linda McMahon?
Yeah.
Ryback.
I think that's the story of the century right there. I mean, there's nothing that makes sense about it. I mean, apparently he, on his podcast, and I read it a while ago, so I think I'm pretty accurate, but he commented that he was in the shower and got, I think, 5 phone calls. 3 were from Linda McMahon, a number associated with Linda McMahon, and then 2 calls from one number that was WWE headquarters, and all within like a 15-20 minute span while he was in the shower. And then I don't really think he really elaborated. Like, well, what is it? Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but like, I'm guessing a number associated with Linda McMahon used to be the CEO, so I'm assuming that he means that number might have been the number associated with her CEO office. So maybe he's referencing that it was Vince calling from an office that maybe was Linda's back in the day. I don't know, or like he said associated with Linda. So I'm gonna imagine that the number that came up Linda is probably another headquarter number. It's just out of a different landline number.
Yeah, I don't remember him going further into it, like if there was a voicemails or whatever, but he always takes shots at Vince. He hates Vince. And this led to him speculating, what's the best way to get back at him than to start dating his wife?
Keep in mind, and I think we talked about this as part of the quarterly results, they're $350 million deep into their new headquarters. So it's just kind of weird. Like, they're moving headquarters, a number associated with the headquarters calls Rhyback, taking what he says at face value, calls him 5 times randomly, like on a Tuesday morning or whatever, after he's done with his morning workout, and then never calls again. I don't know. And now he's writing it. He's like working it.
So what? On the spot, is he lying or not lying? Why would anyone from WB headquarters be calling him?
Every good lie has a little hint of truth into it. So maybe it's 2 things. Maybe someone called him. Maybe someone was cleaning out the offices and found Ryback's number as they were moving things. And was like, maybe it's not really Ryback's number. And they dialed it. Holy shit, it's Ryback's number. Oh, that's Ryback's number. No, it's not. And that's how 20 minutes you get 5 phone calls from headquarters.
Could be.
It could be that he did actually get a phone call, some kind of automated phone call, maybe that went.
Did he actually show a picture of it or no?
I don't remember.
I don't think I saw that. But no one had anything posted.
I don't think
it was just like not being discussed everywhere.
He's all about showing receipts. And I haven't seen receipts.
I don't think it was anything recent either. It was from a few years ago. I thought
it just happened the other day, didn't it?
No, it was a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
yeah, it happened recently.
I misunderstood.
That's why it's such a headline news. Like this, why is Linda McMahon supposedly?
No, yeah, I know. He said it on his podcast recently. I thought this actually happened though a few years ago.
No, it was a couple weeks. It was like when did that brings up? 2 weeks ago.
No,
we didn't do a show last week.
He does like daily shows.
I did a show last week. Thank you.
He does like daily shows on Twitter, but the implication was that it was either the day or the day after the
Okay.
But I think it was like a week and a half ago it happened.
I don't think it has anything to do with Linda McMahon. She has been so far away from the workings of WWE. She just collects her profit from her A shares and moves on. She's been busy with the Small Business Administration stuff under Trump, and she's been doing some other stuff since.
And her and Vince haven't been together for many years either.
Yeah.
I think she's more involved in WWE than you think.
I don't think so.
I think she has a lot of invested interest in it.
I mean, it's going well. I mean,
I would love to be a fly on the wall for McMahon meetings because they're all invested in somehow, and they're just not. I mean, Shane McMahon's invested; he's not around. Steph McMahon's invested, and she's not around.
I imagine it's a lot like what's that HBO show?
Succession.
Succession. I imagine it's a lot like they're just waiting for the old man to die so they can fight over.
Well, he took that option away. They ain't getting anything now, really.
He's just never gonna die. That's
No.
what it's gonna be. So Nia Jax has finally popped her head up out of the sand, talking
Yep.
about a return to WWE, training under Brother Devon, which was kind of cool to hear. Kind of hinting at maybe targeting Rhea Ripley.
Yeah,
She's still under contract.
No, she hasn't been. She made a surprise return at the Royal Rumble this year, but she hasn't had an actual deal since she was released.
Are we excited about this?
And like we've seen so many times, they all team up and throw her out of the ring. I feel
Yeah.
like that story's been done like 8 times with Nia Jax.
I mean,
Yeah, why not? I think it's great.
Nah.
the women's division needs more.
No,
Excuse
the
me,
women's
but-
division needs the bloodline. That's Nia Jax. Why not? You don't think you don't think her coming back has anything to do with that?
I mean, if it leads to a Bloodline versus Judgment Day story, maybe.
I'm telling you right now, the bloodline, just like Paul Heyman said, we're only in the 3rd inning. The bloodline is going to start to tick into the women's division. I mean, rather it's The Rock's daughter, rather it's Nia Jax. I'm telling you, they have
Tamina's been there all
They
along.
have some female talent to start bringing in.
I mean,
I'm telling you, it's
Tamina's been
coming.
there all along, and they haven't used her yet. So
It's coming.
Now that we're done with the whole bra and panty match BS from the Attitude Era, my biggest critique of the women's division and the way that it's handled now is that it's too fucking derivative. You got the 4 horsewomen, right? Everything's piled on top of some legacy thing. You got Natalia as the last remaining member of the Hart Foundation, carrying the legacy on. It's too effing derivative. This would be a step too far for them to do that. Nia Jax, the whole Samoan line.
I'm not sure I've ever heard that word before.
derivative.
It's too effing derivative. Have an original idea.
Now he likes to keep saying it.
Carry it over. I'm not going to go. It would be a bad idea.
Yeah,
Bring her back because they need more people, but
I've never been a fan of hers, and whether you believe it or not, I don't think she's particularly safe in the ring.
Oh, I don't
begin
think she
with.
is either. But you got to look at this. Paul Heyman's not throwing out words like we're in the 3rd inning for no reason. Well, how
He's getting us talking.
I know. But
everything's a work with that.
I get that, but like, what else are they gonna do? Like, what really? What? I mean, they got to bring in some new players for the bloodline. I think they're gonna crack into the women's division. They'd be dumb not to. Well, I'm surprised they haven't had a female part of the bloodline. They have. They literally
don't have any.
They literally have blood-associated relatives that are in the female.
They have Tamina that's never gotten over, and they have the Rock's daughter who's just starting.
In your scenario, would they be able to get through the next 2 months to Survivor Series, 2.5 months to Survivor Series, without bringing in any women? Would they be able to get this
for the bloodline.
For bloodline, would they be, without leveraging the women's division resources? Would they be able to get to Survivor Series without it?
But
Just yes or no?
yes, I think so.
Okay. Then you have the triumphant return of Jey Uso at Survivor Series, which re-injects. So why would you bring
That's
women
done.
in?
Jey Uso's not doing anything more with Roman Reigns. I don't think. He'll come back and be part of the tribe again.
Well, fine, but that's a part of the story.
What do they call it? The tribe.
He's gonna be. You mean he's gonna join them again?
Yeah, he'll come.
They acknowledge.
Yeah, he'll come back and he's back to being the bad guy again. You know.
Fine.
That's lame.
And they're gonna act like nothing happened.
No.
And the whole story. You tell me WWE does it? WWE will spend 6 months on a storyline and just wipe it out a month later like it never happened.
No, that's what they do with the women's division.
So you
They do that with the bloodline.
You don't think like 2 months? He'll take 2 months off, and he'll show up and he'll help Roman Reigns at a critical moment and get himself back into
He'll do something
on the table.
That's
Like,
all I'm saying. I don't know what it's going to be at this point. He's going to do something.
I mean, I don't even know what the road is for Roman Reigns now. What is it?
I mean, they had a really great road. I laid it out for him right before.
Yeah.
SummerSlam.
I mean, now what are they now? Because now they got Solo back, they got Jimmy, and like
They really haven't done anything with Solo.
they're not going to turn him either.
Do
He's
something with him.
how
They could have Rikishi come back. They could have The Rock come back.
We've already said all that. They're not gonna do that.
they'll find. I think they'll find.
Having,
I don't know.
having The Rock come in or Rikishi or
They
anybody
want
else
The Rock come in while they're on strike.
at this point would just be it'd be jumping the shark. Everyone would be saying this should have been done 6 months ago or whatever.
That's exactly what they said about.
Well, eventually they got to get back to that. I mean, if the plan is Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, at some point they got to interject him back into the story with Roman. So, I mean, how far are they going to try to build that rivalry? Are they going to try to do 6 months with it, 5 months with it, 2 months with it?
I don't think that that's the road to WrestleMania.
I mean, if Cody Rhodes is going to battle Roman Reigns again, I think he wins the Royal Rumble again. So what's that,
Yeah,
January?
maybe January.
Now Roman Reigns got to go to January with something. So what's he going to do?
I don't know, Royal Rumble? Yeah, I don't think that they have to put the belt up at Royal Rumble. Especially when you put it up at every other pay-per-view between now and then.
Right.
So I bet you Roman Reigns takes 2 months off, to be honest.
He could take a chunk off.
I bet he takes a month off.
So Nia Jax coming back, not crazy about that, but another return, which I personally am very excited for. Kairi Sane coming back to WWE.
They're pushing a Survivor Series. Could be a really good storyline there with our girl, the ladies' champion.
With Io Sky, yeah.
Io Sky could be a very
Former tag team partners. Yep.
Could be a really good return. Obviously, really good wrestling. I really look forward to that as well.
Yeah, that's going to be good. She is phenomenal. She was great in NXT, got totally butchered on the main roster.
She was a COVID let go, right? Wasn't like 21?
No, I think it was just after COVID, but she became an ambassador to Japan. She was still she wasn't under contract with WWE. She was working other companies, but she still had a relationship with them.
Got it.
Let's talk about Dark Side of the Ring. You watched the recent episode of Bash at the Beach 2000. For those who don't know, that's the episode where Jeff Jarrett laid down for Hulk Hogan to win the world title, and there was all this backstage drama with Vince Russo and everything else. I thought it was interesting, though, after that aired, Booker T said he was asked to participate in this episode, and he turned it down, saying he was worried about his reputation.
I don't think WWE can take too lightly to them being on the show.
They've had other WWE wrestlers on there.
What he said, I read the whole context of the interview, Booker T's comments. What he said is he didn't like the way that the plane ride from hell was handled.
Right.
He was on the plane ride from hell.
Yeah, he said it wasn't that bad.
He was saying,
when we've been hearing for years.
And basically what he said is Flair got blackballed and got thrown underneath the bus, and it wasn't as bad as they let on. And because of that, he doesn't trust Vice to do a good job with it.
It's just a valid reason, if that's really what it is.
If you feel that way, now that's a really good cover. That being said, like you said, I think both things can be true at once. He's a party man. He would never do anything. He's not going to bite the hand that feeds him. WWE has been feeding him for 20 years.
Yeah, I can't imagine WWE is that thrilled when people
companies will let you order DoorDash while you're at work on live television. And pay you $250,000 a year to do it, and let you.
Still not crazy about that.
I mean, he's a company man, so.
To answer your question, Mick Foley has been on the show many times. He's still under contract with WWE, not as high profile as Booker T,
paid
but
the price for that.
He's got a Legends. Yeah,
he's on the Legends contract.
Well, he could probably go and do that.
They all.
On a Legends well, I mean, Booker T might not be able to go do that, but based off whatever his contract is. I mean, is Booker T a Legend?
Why wouldn't he just say that, though? No, he's a commentator. He commentates on NXT.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is I don't think he has a Legends contract.
No, he doesn't. But
No.
So he might not be allowed. I mean, I don't know why he said. I mean, he might not even be allowed to go do it.
I mean, that would be the easy thing for him to say, right? It'd be easy for him to go, I got invited, but I couldn't,
I mean, I think under the Legends contract, as long as they don't say anything negative about WWE, I think they can do whatever they want.
But instead, he said, I don't like the way that they handled problems.
And honestly, that could be his personal opinion. Maybe if he was there, maybe that's how he feels.
I mean, I'm sure they're definitely incentivized.
He doesn't want to be part of a show that gets taken out of context.
Season 4 now. They're looking for ideas for season 5. They've been all over Twitter saying, send us your ideas for season 5. Yeah, it's because you're running out of shit. Right. That's why you're asking the crowd. Because you don't know what to do anything. So, it is what it is.
All right, couple quick points here on AEW All In. Just a little under a week away. I am really looking forward to the show. They hyped up a bunch more matches this past week being added to the show. They even changed the start time, moved it up to 5 p.m. In London time. London time, yes.
Summertime.
I prefer London time.
That's a
Thank
bold move, don't you think?
It's not a bold move at all. They got a good reason for it.
Yeah.
Move it up?
Yeah, they have zero.
When's the last time you've seen anyone move a pay-per-view up?
The reason why they
A week or
moved it
two
up
before.
is because they're having MJF and Adam Cole wrestle twice in the night.
Right.
So they're on the pre-show now. The 0 hours.
They're on the first match and the last match of the night.
But this just goes back to and I'm gonna get on Matt's bad side here. This just goes back to my whole rhetoric with AEW. It's just chaotic. Like, you're really changing the pay-per-view start time 2 weeks before it starts. That's a bold move. People are flying into this. Or, you don't know that people get to the pay-per-view, the stadium, and they plan that. Now you're moving it up an hour. I mean, that's okay. Rather you agree, it's a bold move to move it up. Rather you agree or disagree with it. Can you? That's a bold move.
I think of the 80,000 plus tickets that have been sold, most of those people are already going to be in town, so you don't have to worry about them.
But I'm just saying, some people who are flying in and getting there like right at or playing, that's pretty. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I don't remember the last pay-per-view I seen that got moved up an hour 2 weeks before it started. It's just a bold move. That's all.
This years ago when we did our first iteration of WWE. I said the way that the WWE what they need to do to be successful is they need to have certainty backstage and they need to have uncertainty on stage. And that is exactly what Tony Khan is doing now. I think that all this is I'm not saying that there isn't any chaos. I'm not saying that it's totally calm waters. But I'm saying that Tony Khan told us weeks ago that we wouldn't have a card until a week out. That we wouldn't have a finalized card. He was concerned about injuries.
Yep.
He was concerned about drama backstage.
There was supposed to be a Bryan Danielson match. He's injured. Jamie Hayter and Pac were both supposed to be involved. That's their hometown, and they're both injured. So
he was very concerned. So he told us weeks ago. He said, we are not going to have a finalized card until a week before. And here we are. We're a week out. Actually, technically, it was 2 weeks out that they made this announcement that they were going to move it back an hour. They bump it back an hour so that they can have MJF and Adam Cole, the hottest storyline in all of professional wrestling.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And they're going to have them wrestle twice, and they're going to lose the curtain jerk. They're going to lose the titles, and not to get ahead of myself, but they're going to lose the chance at the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. It's going to create drama, and it's going to make the main event even more interesting. Because right now they're best friends fighting each other, and you don't want to see them hug it out at the end. You want to see something you want to see some aggression, which you're not really going to get at the end of it. So I think that it's a work. I think that he is making it look way more chaotic than it actually is. He had Will Ospreay signed 2 months ago. The only question was who is he going to wrestle? He could wrestle anybody. It's made to look chaotic, but it's way less chaotic than it actually is, in my opinion.
I said my piece.
Let's go over the matches so far really quick. Again, I'm really excited for this. I mentioned Ring of Honor Tag Championship on the pre-show, Aussie Open versus Better Than You, Bebe. You got the main event, the World Championship match between MJF and Adam Cole. You got the tag titles between FTR and the Young Bucks. That's going to be awesome. Got the Women's Championship 4-way, Shida versus Toni Storm versus Saraya versus Britt Baker.
Is Saraya going to go over in her hometown?
I don't know.
Just food for thought.
Yeah, I don't know. Stadium Stampede match. Eddie Kingston, the Lucha Brothers, and the Best Friends versus Blackpool Combat Club and 3 unnamed team members. You got a coffin tag match. AR Fox and Swerve Strickland versus Darby Allin and Sting. Sting has brought back his Joker gimmick from TNA.
We saw AR Fox wrestle live in Albany.
He is phenomenal.
Very good. He's exceptional.
You mentioned Will Ospreay. He's going up against Chris Jericho. That's the one I'm least excited for.
Yeah, we'll see.
And Golden Elite versus Bullet Club Gold and Konosuke Takeshita. Golden Elite is going to be Kenny Omega, Adam Page, and Kota Ibushi. And the one that hasn't been confirmed yet, Samoa Joe versus CM Punk.
Yes.
So there's only 3 singles matches, potentially 3. Right now, only 2 singles matches on the whole
I
card.
think you got room for maybe one more in there, with assuming Samoa Joe and CM Punk, which they've been pushing really hard. CM Punk just got choked out by Samoa Joe on Saturday night. So I think, you're going to be... I think you got room for one more match on top of that. I think it could be a surprise. It won't be Jey Uso. But it could be...
There's still rumors about a Goldberg match, Goldberg versus Wardlow, but...
I was just going to say, Wardlow is a guy that everyone is complaining is not getting the push that he deserves in AEW.
Yep, he hasn't been on TV in a few weeks.
He's not on the card, and who's the kind of person that could draw? Somebody like Goldberg.
Yeah, who goes over in that match, though?
I don't think Goldberg would do it if he wouldn't go over.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Goldberg
So what
ain't
good is
showing
that for
up,
Wardlow, then?
I mean, Wardlow. I mean, you can get over without going over.
Yeah, true, but
I mean, there are ways to do it. Now, Goldberg's notoriously stiff. I wouldn't put him in the ring with,
and he can't wrestle past 2 minutes.
especially these days. Yeah, you have to put him in there with a guy that can take care of him. Christian Cage.
I mean, what he did with Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam a few years ago.
Amazing. Oh.
I mean, he just completely squashed him, and that was perfect.
What's the names I have to guess?
No.
Damn.
You know his. So the card was just still mostly finalized, but prior to that, they sold 80,056 tickets, which put them over SummerSlam 92 and WrestleMania 32. So they're doing something right, clearly.
Yeah, just like I said, it has to be a success. It will be.
All right. So last headline here before we get into your wrestling rant. Looks like Edge might be wrapping up this week, actually, tonight in Toronto. This might be his last match tonight against Sheamus.
That would be sad if that was the case.
Yeah. I mean, he wanted to come back so that he could retire on his own terms rather than 9 years ago, 10 years ago from injury, but I don't know, why do it on a random... I mean, I understand it's in his hometown, but on a random SmackDown episode?
Wild view. I think it's going to be promoted as a retirement match. I said this before. I think it's going to be promoted as a retirement match. I mean, Sheamus, come on. I mean, it's going to be advertised as a retirement match, and someone's going to come in, interfere, take him down, which is going to cause some big rivalry to what will be... I get he's wanting to do it in front of Toronto. I get that. But, I mean, come on. We can't line up someone a little bit better than Sheamus on Toronto?
And the story is that his relationship with Sheamus led to him coming back. Like, they were mountain biking. He fell off his bike with Sheamus, and he wasn't hurt, so that's when he started thinking he could make a return. So I think that's why it's Sheamus.
I'm sorry. In my opinion, for a guy like Edge, he can go out far better than that. And this may be what he wants. I mean, if that's really the case, then, great. But I just think there's got to be a story to it. There's got to be. Like they're gonna say they're gonna make a real situation and turn it into a story.
I hope that it is, because he deserves a way better goodbye than that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this makes me think about what's his name, just taking his boots off and dropping him in there.
Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
Like, I hope it's not.
He's coming back. He's not done.
Yeah, but I mean, I hope it's not actually something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where randomly he just takes his boots off and leaves them in the ring. Like, yeah, they've been carrying his boots to the ring. The Acclaimed. Carrying his boots to the ring for the last couple of weeks. So yeah, he's clearly coming back. That was a really good work, because he was like crying while he did it and shit. But I hope it's not actually something like that. Fine, you want to work an angle like that, that's fine. But I mean, he deserves a hell of a send-off, better than that. So
Yep.
Maybe the Rumble would be a great place to stitch it up.
Yeah, that's when he made his return, so why not?
Back.
All right. Let's get into some ranting here from Jeremy. His blood's boiling.
I don't want to be mean about this, so I'm going to be as calm and cool and collected as I possibly can.
Nobody wants to see that.
CM Punk is a fucking cancer.
Wow, we're really getting into it quick, aren't we?
He is, earlier in the show I said, it's much more calm back in the back than everyone says it is. And I know earlier I said, like, I think it's all kind of a work, because all of the drama was coming from CM Punk's side. CM Punk was saying this, CM Punk was saying that. But now things are different now. Now there's reports of Adam Page being turned away in Greensboro, which apparently isn't exactly the case. You got Punk that's doing shoot promos. After the show's over, they go off air in Greensboro on Saturday Night in Collision, and he just starts shooting on the hometown boy for no reason. The whole reason why the hometown boy, who everybody wants to see in Greensboro, North Carolina, couldn't be on that show is because CM Punk can't keep his hands to himself. That's why this was. So they had to be separated. And then he goes and he shoots on the guy. Not even well. Like, I don't know if you've seen the videos of the promo.
I heard it was bad.
It wasn't a particularly good promo. He takes shots at his merchandise sales and stuff like that in front of his hometown crowd, comes back afterwards and apologizes to Page for the shoot via text message, apparently. Then reports come out of Hangman Page, Ryan Nemeth, Matt Hardy, Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels, who I believe is the head of talent relations okay, being told by Punk, you are not allowed at Collision. Okay, I don't know how you, as a talent, tell the head of talent relations, you are not allowed to be here tonight.
Who told him that? CM Punk?
Yes. Apparently CM Punk is the king of Collision. Apparently he's the great decision maker. To the point that another report surfaced that several weeks ago, Jack Perry showed up and he had to do a vignette behind the scenes, and they had to shoot it with some kind of glass. He wanted to shoot it with real glass, and he got in this shouting match with CM Punk over it. And apparently it became like this Big Lebowski situation where it's like, yeah, Punk, you're not wrong, you're just an asshole. Where like he couldn't just talk to him with respect and dignity, he had to boss him around, and I guess Jack Perry ended up like throwing a temper tantrum and there was a big drama over it. So like the fact that these reports are surfacing, but they're not coming from the Punk camp, and that Punk is apologizing, like publicly admitting that he's apologizing, like this is entirely different than what was going on before he made his premiere on Collision a couple of months ago. This is very different. And in addition to that, there's reports now that Tony Khan is maybe starting to crack a little bit. I'm going to read directly here from Wrestling Headlines. Quote, a lot of people are upset about Wembley. This is from an unnamed wrestler. Maybe if it were just Wembley, it would be different, but with everything that's happened over the last year, it's becoming the one major issue. People want to know if they're going to London, what the card is going to be. It's a show everyone wants to be on. It's like WrestleMania 3 or WrestleMania 1, but there isn't any urgency. People are scared we aren't going to live up to this moment. And I wonder if CM Punk is contributing to that, because he's having to spend 25% of his time managing this one talent that seems to think that he's the king of Collision. He can he can tell Jack Perry that he's not allowed to use real glass in his vignette. He can tell Christopher Daniels that he can't show up to a taping. He can tell people where they can go and when they can. I mean, Matt Hardy, what gives you the right to boss around Matt fucking Hardy, dude? I mean, I get that you're a legend, but he's a legend too. I mean, come on, this is an absurdity here. And then you're shooting on guys that you already have heat with after the cameras are off. Guys that the Elite have kept their mouths shut. They've been the good guys in this entire scenario. They have eaten crow every step of the way. I mean, CM Punk is acting like you would expect a guy like Jeff Hardy to act. You would expect that this guy would be on some kind of drug, doing some kind of BS as some kind of excuse, but he's not. He's just a dickhead. He's just being an asshole for no reason. And I don't know why he's acting out like that, or how this plays into like his straight edge gimmick or something like that. But it seems like every other week he comes out, he says something stupid that F's up the locker room. It's contributing to the strain in the company, and instead of being a part of the solution, instead of taking a leadership role, he's just contributing to the stress. And it's creating a lot of unnecessary waves. I mean, it's just...
CM Punk is being CM Punk. This is what he does. It's nothing different. What's new about it? I mean, look at his history.
Here's what's new.
Are you shocked?
Here's what's new about it. 15 years ago, there were veterans in the locker room that would have punched him in the mouth.
Right.
Had he done this. Now he's the veteran. He's supposed to be the leader in the locker room, especially on Collision, where he has been forced to be segregated because he can't get along with the other leadership.
Jeremy, did we ever think Collision was really going to work? I mean, let's be honest. Collision was it can work, but it was created for the sole benefit of keeping CM Punk over there. I mean, that's really what it was. I mean, did we really think that situation? We're going to create WWE SmackDown, and that's going to be a show just for Stone Cold. That's not. You don't see that. Like, are we really trying to do that? And apparently, based off of these, people are trying to follow those rules. Like CM Punk can decide who comes and who goes. I mean, it's really his show from the sounds of it.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm wondering, does he have some kind of like Hulk Hogan level contract?
Something in his contract, yeah.
Where he's got some kind of crazy level of creative control.
Let this man answer. You're the AEW guy, Matt. What's going on over here?
I don't know.
Like, what's let them out. What's your opinion on it? I mean, what's Tony Khan doing?
We said it a couple months ago when CM Punk was first being rumored coming back. None of us wanted to bring him back. If we were running our own company, we would not have brought him back because we expected this kind of thing to happen. So if this is actually the case, like last I saw was there was some speculation whether it was actually Punk who was doing these things or if Tony was making the decisions or whatever. So I mean, I don't know. If he does have that kind of control, yeah, that's fucked up.
Does Tony Khan go to Collision?
Yeah.
Has he been on TV?
He's in Gorilla.
He's been on like pre-tapes, but yeah, I'm sure he's there in Gorilla.
So let me get this straight. The CEO of the company is backstage, and your talent relations guy shows up, and your top talent is telling him to hit the road.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if Tony's sitting in Gorilla managing everything, he doesn't find out until the end of the show that even occurred.
If I'm the vice president of talent and I show up at an AEW event, there's no effing wrestler telling me to hit the fucking road.
If I'm Christopher Daniels and I'm in that situation and Punk meets me in the parking lot, I'm punching him in the nose and I'm making him go out on national television with a bloody nose and explain to everybody how.
No.
See, I didn't hear that it was Punk that actually told him that. I thought it was...
If I'm Christopher Daniels and I'm being told I can't access an arena full of AEW talent and an event, I'm quitting the company.
Right.
Like, why? That's like being in charge of live events and not being allowed to go into the event. What the fuck? You're like, how can you not? Like, I'm in charge of talent relations and I can't go into an event where all of our talent is?
I'm going to read directly from this is from Wrestle Talk. According to Meltzer, Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, this hasn't been the first time that wrestlers have run into issues. He said, quote, "This is not the only time this has happened. Matt Hardy was booked on a Saturday, went there, and then was told not to go in the building after he got there. That was not last night, but Matt Hardy was one of them. Quote, Christopher Daniels, who had been working with Matt Sydal as a tag team in Ring of Honor for whatever reason, the same thing happened with him, that he's not supposed to go on Saturday, and he's freaking head of talent relations. And there may be others, but those are the ones that I know about that it's been happening to. There's a lot of other things too, but that's the stuff that's pretty much out there right now, I guess."
Okay, so it didn't specifically say CM Punk told him not to go to Collision.
No, somebody told Daniels not to enter the building.
Right, okay.
Was it CM Punk himself? I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it was
Either
CM
way, I mean-
security or something like that, like somebody.
Or it could have been Tony Khan.
That's a messy. I mean, if it's Tony Khan, that's one thing. I mean, but if it's like,
There's still no good reason for it that we
No,
know of, but
I guess Tony Khan would be the only one that I could think of that I would be like.
but even that situation, I'm going to Tony Khan's office on Monday and saying, "What am I here for?"
Right.
I'm your head of talent relations, and I can't even go into the building. Like, what am I here for?
And I'm not working. I mean, he was on Rampage when we saw it, right?
right, he was in that Battle Royal.
Yeah, but otherwise, he's not working. So,
I mean-
Apparently he's working on Ring of Honor with Matt Sydal.
but well, no, this was a couple of this. I guess
Right.
it's
Yeah, no, I know.
But either way, like, yeah, what the.
But who said it the best? When I look at some of the great minds in wrestling, I think of obviously the three. The three I think of when I think of great minds of wrestling: Vince McMahon, Paul Heyman, Eric Bischoff.
The
Okay.
guy that drove WCW into the ground.
Doesn't matter. You telling me Eric Bischoff's not a great? I'm not. That's a whole nother.
Yeah.
We're not getting.
Yeah.
I can't deal with this right now. Okay. Eric Bischoff said that CM Punk's a poison, and bringing him back is going to cause nothing but problems. It's a no-win situation bringing CM Punk back, and what you just said is it's showing that. How much more are they going to keep taking?
The only win is if it was guaranteed money, and the question is, are you going to pay him to stay home, or are you going to pay him to come in?
That could be Tony Khan could be pinched into a corner where he's got to pay him either way.
$15 million over the next 3 years for him to sit at home. You know? And honestly, if that's the alternative, I'm like, okay, maybe you need to do a better job caging him and keeping him under control. Hey, listen, Paul, hey, listen, you're not allowed to do that. Like, you don't have that level of control. Like, you don't get to tell Jack Perry, you don't get to approve vignettes. Like, I approve all the things that we listed a couple of weeks ago. I approve bumps on the apron. I approve glass being used. I approve blading and juicing. Like,
Right.
so, I don't know. It's we'll see what happens.
This is doomed to fail.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wembley is a big building. We'll see if they can contain everyone, because it'll be the first time that everyone's together in a year.
Everyone
Yeah.
stop
Right.
to your locker room. CM Punk is coming through.
And then
But that's what it's going to have to be.
That'll be the argument, because Phil won't want to be in the visitors' locker room. He'll want to be in the home locker room. And then there'll be some huge drama about that.
Everyone report to your locker rooms, please. CM
don't think he
Punk
gets
is
his own
coming
locker room?
through.
I mean, I don't know how it's arranged. I've never been to Wembley.
All right, we're running long here. Let's get into our last talking point. You mentioned it earlier. ESPN's 30 under 30 list, and there were some interesting names on that. So Why don't you get into that
Yeah,
for
let me
us?
start with number one, who I will not hear an argument against. This is MJF. Anybody want to try and mount an argument over MJF being the best wrestler working today? Forget under 30. Okay, good. Rhea Ripley, it was nice to see a woman that high. I don't think I would put
Number 2. Yep.
higher than Rhea Ripley at number 2. Do I think she's the number 2 under 30? Probably not, but she's definitely in the top 10.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Austin Theory should not. He should be like 20.
When did this come out?
The week before he lost. It's 2 weeks ago. It was like August 7th or something, 6th or 7th. Something
Stop.
That's why they dropped him, because he ended up on this list. So he lost the title for
I mean,
that.
he shouldn't be in the top 10.
Stop.
He shouldn't be in the top 10.
I don't want. No. Here, keep going.
He shouldn't. Okay, and I don't want to hear you talk about Vikingo because you haven't seen him wrestle. You didn't even know who he is.
Who?
Yeah, Elijo de Vikingo, who is exceptional. He's the new Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
He's the next Rey
Oh
Mysterio.
my God.
Yeah,
Here
we know how he feels about Rey
He's a
Mysterio.
small guy.
Here comes the Mysterio propaganda. Keep it going, Jeremy. We all know you love. Keep going. Keep going.
It's 2 against 1 here,
I
dude.
know. Keep going.
Yeah. I mean, he's exceptional. He's a small guy that can hang with the big guys.
He's been the top AAA champion for nearly a year now.
Is he 4th? He's top 10.
I mean, they gave you a Mysterio, number 5. I mean, come on.
I don't think Mysterio is 5th.
Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, I don't think Dominic is 5th. I would put him on the list. I'd put him top 20.
I don't think he's a great wrestler. I think he has a great persona.
No, he's not. And I don't even think his persona is that great.
Oh, I think
It's just people hate him.
I think he's great. He's very good at people hating him.
I
mean, people boo the shit out of that guy when he comes out.
I think he is still eating lunch on that WrestleMania match. The pop when
Yep.
his dad pulled that
When he-
belt out and
Yep.
whipped him. Unbelievable pop, and he's been riding that WrestleMania high this entire time. He hasn't lost any momentum. He took that mic Monday night and nobody let him speak. I mean, that is insane. He's still getting nuclear heat, and I think it's. They won't let him talk. How does he get any heat? They won't let him talk.
You're getting out of control over there.
Braun Breaker.
Your rant's already over.
Braun Breaker is number 6. I think he's better than Dominic and better than Austin Theory, but he's top 10.
He's a good wrestler. I've never really paid attention to much of his
Who put this
promos.
list together?
Is it,
ESPN.
But who at ESPN put this
Put this
together?
out. It was
What's their credibility?
It was written by, it's a name. It was written by Mark Raimondi and Brandon Caldwell. This was August 3rd.
Yeah, those guys.
It's legitimate. These aren't clowns. These aren't guys that don't know. These aren't marks. It's all legit. I'm really so Carmelo Hayes. Okay, fine. Takeshita. Sorry. I don't think Liv Morgan
Really?
belongs.
Yeah, she shouldn't be on the top 10.
No.
And number 10, really?
I don't even know if I would put her top 30.
No, I
Is
don't.
Alexa Bliss under 30?
No, she's over.
She's over.
Let me tell you where this
30s.
list gets thrown out the window. As much as I'm a fan of him, is number 10. Yeah, you telling me that he's the top 10, 30?
matches? How many matches
Ricochet?
does he have?
Why don't you put Ricochet? I'm gonna take it he's over 30. I'm sorry, but Logan
How
Paul.
many matches has he had?
Who?
Logan
3?
6.
6?
He's had 6 matches.
But, okay, but matches that are really just Logan Paul in it. One-on-ones are like 2.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm sorry. The
No.
Royal Rumble can't count as a match. He's barely in it.
It's probably 5 matches then.
I've got it up. I'll read exactly what they wrote. This might be somewhat of a polarizing pick, but Paul, like his brother Jake, is a polarizing guy. The YouTuber turned combat sports disruptor is only a part-time wrestler for WWE. That's why he shouldn't be on the list. Though it's impossible to overlook the impact he's had and how good a performance it's been, Paul has only been in big matches, including a bout for the undisputed WWE Universal title against Roman Reigns, and has pulled off some incredible feats. For someone who only has 6 matches in his career, Paul's ability has been preternatural. So I think he should be in the top 30, but I don't think you can put him higher than 25.
Yeah, no, not top 10. That's where this list
had
loses.
success spoon-fed to him. I keep hearing interviews with Triple H and Shawn Michaels saying like, "Oh, he showed up to the Performance Center and he's doing the work," and it's like somewhere some poor guy, somewhere Speedball Mike Bailey is like tearing his hair out. Like, I've been working the indie circuit for 10 years now, putting on amazing matches, and you're astroturfing this success story, Logan Paul, because he's got a gajillion subscribers on YouTube and across different platforms, because you're basically trying to vampire yourself onto his popularity. You're trying to inject yourself into his fan group. So it sucks. I mean, he doesn't belong in the top 25 at all.
No.
He has some basic fighting acumen. He has some showmanship, but he hasn't cut his teeth. He hasn't done the work. He doesn't belong on the list at all. He's a part-time wrestler. How do you put a part-time wrestler on there?
You can't, which is what makes this list uncredible.
You can't. Now, if he had
Shut up,
30
Dan.
matches under his belt, and he was signed to a full-time contract that allowed him to do all the other BS that he does, okay, fine. Like, he has performed very well. But he's been spoon-fed. I mean, I don't know.
All right. You want to go through the other 20 or not even bother?
No, I think the top 10's the only relevant ones.
And originally I asked you if this list was WWE paid for, but 3 of the top 10 are outside of WWE, so.
No, and it spreads. There's a lot of Japan. There's a lot of Stardom. There's a lot of, other promotions further down the list. But I thought, 3 out of 10. I mean, really, there were only 3 or 4 that I thought really didn't belong where they were. I thought it was pretty decent, especially considering it's ESPN. It's not like Wrestling News Observer, or something. Somebody that really knows.
The PWI 500.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not like they're kind of in the know. This is kind of their first real. They've been doing these lists for about the last 6 months to a year now. So.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty accurate given the circumstances.
All right, we had a lot to cover this episode. We went a little long, but we're done now. So let's wrap this up. Check out our social medias. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know. You know what? Let us know who you think should be top 10 or top 30 under 30 pro wrestlers. And tell us why you think it's mostly AEW guys instead of WWE guys. And watch our Falls Count Anywhere, dropping on Monday. This past episode, like we said, really crappy article comparing Attitude Era to current stars. And watch the new one coming up this Monday. And until next time, if you keep watching, we'll keep wrestling with business.